Nintendo Monopoly. This particular item is not very difficult to get. The pieces that come in here, the box art was really cool. It really caught my eye the first time I ever saw it. And the pieces are really neat. Let's open up this piece and take a look at the board here. This board I personally thought was really, really, really cool. In the background, if you look really carefully, you can see images from past games. That is all part of Nintendo's lore. Like here is a Kirby, there is a Zelda 1, Mario Kart. Some of them are hard to tell through this camera, but there's another Zelda 1. That looks like, what is that? I don't even care anymore. Anyway, Minish Cap. It's a really neat board. I really, really liked it a lot. We'll go around the board here real quick, show you some of the items and what's all on here. Toad, Peach, Yoshi. So I mean, it was really, really well done and put together. But of course, everybody's favorite thing to any single Monopoly board are, of course, the pieces. So let's take a look at them. See if we can get these to focus in. So we have a Donkey Kong barrel. We have a Helium shield, which actually has really good detail, but of course my camera's being dumb. Koopa shell. Mario's hat. The iron boots. And one of the coolest ones of them all is the NES controller. So that is the first Nintendo board. And this particular board is complete. I have it all together. I mean, both my boards are complete actually, but I'll explain it to you in just a second. Here's the second Nintendo board that they made. Nintendo Edition Monopoly board. This one was cool because this is based pretty much on the GameCube era, as of this being N64, as you can see, that's Ocarina of Time Link. I mean, it seems like it's N64 era in comparison to this being GameCube because there's Animal Crossing, there's Samus. I mean, Samus is on here too, but I mean, that's a more detailed Samus that's obviously from Metroid Prime, and then Twilight Princess Link. So let's open up this box. Overall, this board was not nearly as impressive. It didn't have the cool art in the background, but it did have a collection of a lot of the characters from the series right on the top of the board, right when you open it, which I thought was really, really kind of neat. They kept the Mario and the Luigi as pretty much the two blue spots, and they kept the Link, the Princess Zelda, but then they have Midna here, which is what I thought was kind of weird. They have Epona here, but I'm glad with this board that together with both boards, you pretty much have an idea of every single franchise that Nintendo has to offer, because the ones that they included here are Animal Crossing as opposed to Star Fox, and then they added the Pikmin onion, which is upside down because it's on the other side of the board, but it included Pikmin, so you have an idea of everything that Nintendo had to offer. The reason why I go about this one I haven't actually particularly opened. This one is still sealed. Here we go. So the figures, we have the Gyroid from Animal Crossing. We have a Mario Mushroom, which is in very bad, focus, because this camera's dumb. Here's the Onion Ship from Pikmin. This is Samus's helmet, or her ship. I don't know which one it is. You guys tell me. I'm not a big Metroid fan. I have all the games, but I can't tell if that's her helmet or if that's her ship. It might actually be both. I think they both have the same design. And the star, which is really cool. Now the reason why I go is because of this. That in the bag is a Master Sword on a pedestal of some sort. But if you look really closely, the side of the sword is broken right off. And that's the piece that broke off right there by my finger. This is sealed away in a bag. I was very, very agitated by this because seriously, of course, another thing I own has to be broken. It came right out of the box broken, and whenever you buy these things at hobby stores, you can't really return them. So I'm pretty much stuck with it like that. So, but that is my Nintendo Monopoly trinkets. This is a button collection that Nintendo had sent to me because I'm a Club Nintendo fan and made it to Elite status last year. They hand out free gifts like this actually every year that sell usually for a decent amount of money on eBay for a while and then start to decline. One year they handed out a Mario hat, the next year they handed out a Mario statue, and I missed out on both of those, but I did not miss out on this one, which I actually really, really think is neat. I was very against the idea of having these at first, but I thought this was really kind of cool. You know, every single one of these items that look like they're inside the box are actually buttons that you can physically take out and wear on a shirt. So, you know, look, Bullet Bill there, a couple of mushrooms and Free Life, and, you know, and it goes all the way down to, you know, even like Bowser and, or at the time he was just called King Koopa, and Princess Toadstool is what was her name at the time. You know, we got the flagpole on the side. This comes in a complete plastic box thing, and each of these rows are exactly what they are. They're just rows that you can just take out individually if you want to. But I don't. I leave them in because it completes the picture on the back of it, and I think it's just really, really kind of neat. You know, so I just keep this displayed on my bookshelf that I have, and see if I can get this thing together with one hand. It's kind of difficult. So that's that random trinket. The next random trinket I have is another pin that I got from Nintendo. It is a Super Mario's Superstar pin. This is actually a very heavy pin. It is a Club Nintendo original pin badge. I forget exactly if you had to spend points on getting this, if you can even still get these, but I think there was a total of 3 of them, and I picked this one particularly to get, because I thought it had the most amount of color. It was cool that it actually showed Mario, it showed the Nintendo logo, and it had the star, and I thought it was just really neat. I think there was one of them that just had the Nintendo logo. There was, you know, there was a few to choose from, but this is the one I chose. They were very expensive in terms of points, and if you are a Club Nintendo fan, you know that points are so valuable. So, the next random trinket I have is a free item that I got, I believe, from Nintendo when I had subscribed to Nintendo Power or something like that. And if I can get this stupid box open, as you can see, there's a fairy in the front. This is for... Oh, I remember, if you registered Phantom Hourglass onto Club Nintendo, they sent this to you for free. So once we open up the little thing, we'll grab this out. It is a feather stylus. This is to commemorate Phantom Hourglass and the idea of being able to write down on your map where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do. This is a really cool little item that I like to have. I have actually had a lot of people ask if they could buy this thing from me, because you cannot get this anymore. I'm sorry, it is not for sale. It sits in this little foam box, and into this brown box it goes. I usually don't really keep this out for display either, because it's an item that I personally love a lot, that not really many people have a satisfaction for like I do, because I'm just a Zelda nut. And then the rest of these here are instruction manuals. I will show you the instruction manuals that are not with the games, because when I show you my game collection, the rest of the instruction manuals will be with them. So we got The Legend of Zelda for the Game Boy, ironically enough, which I don't own the game to anymore. We have Zelda 2 for the Game Boy, same concept. The original Legend of Zelda handbook from the very first Nintendo release. The Adventure of Link handbook from the first Nintendo release. This one's a little beat up, but whatever, I paid like 50 cents for it or whatever. A Link to the Past Game Boy Advance instruction manual. Link's Awakening DX instruction manual. Oracle of Seasons. Oracle of Ages. And the final one here that we have is the Minish Cap one. So, those are my instruction manuals. Alright, and now on to, I believe would be the grand finale of the collection. The reason why people like me go nuts over collecting things like that. Alright, let's move on. And like I said, I will show you the instruction manuals of the games. This is a link to the past instruction manual. Very, very beat up. You will never believe, but I actually literally found this on the street, and ironically enough, has every single page. So for something that I found, I'll take it. Ocarina of Time instruction manual, the original. Majora's Mask, the original. And now during the game segment, there was a few things that you probably saw that you did not recognize, or if you did, would like some more explanation. This is a Japanese version of Link's Awakening. Full box and instruction manual and everything. This is a Japanese version of Twilight Princess for the Wii. The only version, actually, of Twilight Princess that I own. And the last thing that I needed to show you in my Skyward Sword here is, of course, the soundtrack CD that you get from the orchestra soundtrack CD that you automatically get if you had pre-ordered Skyward Sword. So that actually is the end of the overall Zelda collection and the Zelda tribute, so to speak. So, if you want to stop watching now, you can stop watching now because it is no longer going to be about Zelda. I'm going to show you some of my Mario stuff that I have held on to and some other game series that I get into. It is your choice. But that concludes at least Zelda. Alright? So if you're leaving now, I will catch you guys next time. If you're going to continue to watch, hold on one second. Of course, my Mario collection isn't as impressive as my Zelda collection. I've collected the main Mario games that you need to have pretty much to follow the Mario storyline. But anyway, so let's go through what I have here. This is not including Mario Kart or the Smash Bros. Or anything like that. Mario 1, of course, for regular Nintendo. Who doesn't own that game? Mario 2 for regular Nintendo. Actually in very good shape. Mario 3 for regular Nintendo. There you go. And I have to say that they kind of look really cool together. So anyway, let's continue here. We'll move on down to Super Mario World, which I have in a plastic case with its original book. I'll take it out here real quick. Here's the book and the game itself. So actually, ironically enough, I have all my Zelda games in plastic cases like this as well. It's just that I wanted to make a little special segment for my Zelda collection. Super Mario 64, same concept here. I have book with the game. So, there you go, we got that. And, of course, Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, which is the only main Mario release that they had for the GameCube. Some say Luigi's Mansion. Whatever, I have Luigi's Mansion if you really want me to go get it. But, anyway, Sunshine. And then, of course, Mario Galaxy 1. And then, of course, Mario Galaxy 2. So that's pretty much the main Mario collection there. Pretty much just about 8 main games that they have ever released for Mario, and you know, I mean they're all really good. I have Super Mario 3D Land, I have New Mario Brothers for the Wii, but I don't consider those main games. The collection that I'm showing you are games that I will never ever get rid of. I do get rid of some games every once in a while, but these are 8 games along with my Zelda collection that will always be in my collection no matter what. So there's the 8 main Mario games. Now let's move on to the next series. I grew up on Nintendo when I was young, but I grew up on Sega as well. And there was a particular game series that I fell in love with as well called Shining Force. Well, the first one in the series anyway is called Shining the Darkness. I found out later that this one was actually made first, and this game was actually really, really, really bad. But anyway, here's the cartridge and the game booklet inside here. But basically, I fell in love with Shining Force because of the actual Shining Force games, not the Shining in the Darkness game. Here's the Shining Force cartridge, part 1. And then I got Shining Force 2 right here, along with its booklet as well. The reason why I fell in love with these games is because they were really the first RPGs I played, because Zelda's not really an RPG, it's an adventure game. And they're strategy games. You build a team of 12 people, and you battle on like a grid, and you battle against the opponents and stuff. But the reason why, kind of like Fire Emblem if you've played Fire Emblem, but the reason why I actually really like these games over Fire Emblem is because you explore. It's not just battle. There's battle just like Fire Emblem where you guys get promoted, you can get new weapons, you get new items and stuff like that, but you actually explore through cities and meet new people. Now, this is one of my personal favorite series. This is actually number 2 on my favorite series list, right after Zelda. I will never give up my Shining Force games. It's just, they're so important to me. I fell in love with the first game, which I have them stacked here because I want to show you chronologically how they take place, and the importance of them here. But basically, I then later found out that there are more Shining Force games to be had. There's a total of like, I don't know, like 20 or 30 Shining Force games. I don't know how many exactly there are, but they're split into series, where the first series, which is the one that I have here, is part of, it's the first series, exactly what I said. Then it's a total of 6 games, part of the first series. The second series is 2 games, and the third series is whatever is left over. The first series is really the only series worth getting. So when I played Shining Force 1 and then played Shining Force 2, I didn't think they were connected in any kind of way at all. They seemed like they took place in different parts of the world, or at least different worlds entirely, kind of like how Final Fantasies do. And I was kind of like angry about that. But then I later found out that they had made games that connected them together. And one of them that was very, very important was Shining Force CD, which is for the Sega CD. That's not its original cover art. I printed that off my computer. Actually, ironically enough, it turned out really good. But this is the original casing anyway. I don't have the instruction booklet either, but there's the disc. This game is particularly rare. But the reason why it is so rare is because it actually takes place in between Shining Force 1 and 2, and it was also because it was for the Sega CD. And the Sega CD wasn't really that popular of a system. I do happen to have a Sega CD though. But anyway, that takes place in between Shining Force 1 and 2. Now the cool thing about Shining Force CD is it actually consists of 3 different Shining Force stories. One of them being Shining Force: The Sword of Haja for the Sega Game Gear. I have the Sword of Haja obviously in my hand here, but it's also located on the Sega CD disc itself as well. And it's actually a better version if you play it on the Sega CD and if you have a system that can play that, obviously being the Sega CD. Now, I then later found out that Shining in the Darkness then takes place years after Shining Force 2, so it really doesn't have anything to do with it. Then I have found out that Shining Wisdom, another game for the Sega Saturn, which is a system I do own as well, also then I believe takes place in between Shining Force 2 and Shining in the Darkness. Now the reason why I was so, I'm like, oh man, these games are great, is because there was one game that was never released in America. It was only released over in Japan for the Sega Game Gear called Shining Force Final Conflict. Now the reason why this was really big to me is because this is what actually bridged Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2 together. And here it is. I actually have a copy of Shining Force Final Conflict, and if you're a Shining Force fan at all, you know how rare this game actually is. This is ridiculously rare. Original box, instruction manual, and everything. Now, for those that don't know, the reason why I like this game a lot too is the character up in the top left-hand corner here, which if my camera can focus, his name is Max. Top left-hand corner, that guy right there. He is your main leader in Shining Force 1. And he rejoins you again, it's like 20 years later, in this game. Now this character is his nephew. This character is called Ian. And he is the father of your main character in Shining Force 2. So this game really bridges both games together. Not only does this game take place on some of the continents from this game, but takes place in some of the continents from this game as well. And half the characters from this game and half the characters from this game are in this game. This game was the key game to have, or to play through, that connected them both together. And that is what I fell in love with when it came to Shining Force. And that is my Shining Force collection. Alright, this is the final part here. I'm going to make it real quick and sweet to the point. Here's some of my games that I have for the Wii, for the PS3, and then I have GameCube stored back here, which you probably can't see very well, but Star Fox, there's a couple Sonics in there. Actually, between all my Sonic stuff, I have all the Sonic games. Resident Evil, Pikmin, there's some Luigi's Mansion, my Zeldas that are put back. Here's some more stuff. And, just kind of an idea of what I've overall collected. Now, not all of this will stay in my collection forever, but, Knuckles Chaotix back there for the Sega 32X, which is another system that I have. Some of these you can't see very well, but, Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox, Banjo-Kazooie, Blaster Master for the regular Nintendo. There's some regular Nintendo games up there, including Dragon Warrior, Snake Rattle and Roll, and things like that. So that's pretty much about it. That's my gaming collection, and I hope you guys enjoyed the videos, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye. Sorry, I lied. There was one last thing I forgot to show you here. This is the Legend of Zelda TV series, All 13 terrible, terrible, terrible episodes. It actually came with that dent in. I was very mad. But I promise, this is the last of it right here. So, I will talk to you guys next time. Alright, bye.